Now.
Good afternoon, I'm Dan Hagan. Today on Up North at 4, Jeff and I will review our weekends, including Jeff's big day of snowmobiling. Then we'll meet a local collector of historical items and see one of his most prized possessions. We'll get to all of that in a bit, but first, here's your top 4 at 4. Republican state lawmakers are pushing a plan to lower the minimum age to carry a concealed weapon. Currently, a Wisconsin resident needs to be 21 years old before they can apply for a concealed carry permit. The GOP-backed bill would lower it to 18. This, however, would not change the federal law that does not allow anyone 18 to 20 to buy a handgun. A major hurdle for the Republican plan is Governor Evers' veto pen. American treasure Betty White would have turned 100 today. A local credit union wanted to honor her legacy. A Betty White challenge has floated around the internet, encouraging people to donate to a local animal shelter or rehab center. And that's what inspired Park City Credit Union employees today to stop by Wild Instincts and donate some essential items. Wild Instincts, by the way, is an animal rehab center just north of Rhinelander. They have a full wish list of needed items on their website, wildinstinctsrehab.com. The month of January is nearly halfway over, and we've seen bitter cold temperatures. Despite that, the ice on Lake Superior is hard to find. Ice climatologist Dr. Gio Wang says this could be due to the warm 2021 we had, since it takes a lot of energy to change temperature in such a big body of water. Right now, 7% of Lake Superior has surface ice, and while that's below average, it is above last year's 2% coverage. But ice is no issue here in the Northwoods, so this weekend, a local fire department thought, let's do a water training day. The Nokomis Volunteer Fire Department hosted a few dozen other emergency responders on Saturday. Crews cut a hole in the ice off of the County Y Bridge, and the training was designed to offer responders a chance at some real-life water practice. Chief Meteorologist Jeff Weller joins now. Jeff, happy Monday.
Hey Dan, happy Monday. All right, the light snow and flurries out there now will not amount to much, but there's some more where that came from right up here. That energy there is going to be in our backyards tomorrow morning, likely giving us some light snow. We're talking a 1 to 3 inch snowfall on the way, primarily along and north of Highway 8 tomorrow. Futurecast shows us very well, so cloud cover tonight, a couple of flurries out there. But by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, that's light snow, again, pretty much along and north of Highway 8. It quickly gets out of here by midday tomorrow, but then the cold front comes through. That's going to shift the wind off of Lake Superior and a wide open Lake Superior. That's going to kick in some pretty intense lake effect snow bands tomorrow night into early parts of Wednesday morning. So the snowfall system snow looks something like this, right? A 1 to 3 inch snowfall along and north of Highway 8. There's the potential that this could overachieve a little bit tomorrow. So a couple of you could get closer to 3 inches of snow by about this time tomorrow night. But then the cold air gets unleashed once again. It's right there. You see it. That is moving in our direction for tomorrow evening. And then we have several days on the way where these temperatures are going to feel balmy because we will have highs in the single digits, not just for Wednesday, but for Thursday and Friday, with low temperatures down near 20 below zero on Thursday night. Our forecast, though, for tonight, though, is mostly cloudy skies, a couple of flurries out there with low temperatures down near 12. Your full forecast at 5 o'clock.
Skies. All the leaves on the trees are falling to the sound of the breeze.
Drop the attitude and apologize.
No.
Okay, you're grounded.
Great.
Give me your phone.
Fine.
You want to keep going? You like your bed? Lord, give me the strength.
New Kenan tonight on NBC.
Wrecking Ball! Yeah!
The biggest laughs come from the smallest songs.
Tiny Dancer, Elton John.
What? We are far too black to know the words.
New That's My Jam tonight on NBC.
Due to an adverse product mix differential, our sales revenue for Q2 was flat.
Did you take into consideration at all my department's profits?
Blah, 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 blah.
Make your dreams a reality. Book your snowmobile trip to St. Germain today. Call us at the Chamber and we'll make sure you're taken care of.
Find out what your case may really be worth.
it may be a lot more than you think.
Hupy and Abraham.
I got almost $1 million.
$350,000.
I got paid fast. A whole lot more than the insurance company offered.
If you're injured, call now. It's free and confidential. And there's never a fee unless you win. Tell them you mean business. Call 800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Right now.
All in this together. Family. We're taking a chance.
Some traditions just keep getting better and better. Ford F-Series, the official truck of the NFL and America's best-selling trucks 44 years and counting. Now get a built Ford Tough F-150 with 0.9% financing for 60 months, plus $1,000 bonus cash. Only at your local Wisconsin and UP Ford dealers.
We're back on Up North at 4. Jeff, it looks like you had a very fun weekend.
This was the weekend. So not just Saturday, but yesterday I was up in Eagle River. Made a day of it, right? Did a little shopping and stopped by the Ice Castle. And then, of course, Saturday was the big day. Finally, a day on the trails for me. It was fantastic out there. Tons of people. Yeah, it was just, scenes like this, right? The skies were perfect blue. The trails were in great condition. Lots of people out there. Yeah, I can do this all day.
So, yeah, tell me, what's fun about it? I've never done it. It's just fun to go fast.
So we started off like, near Triple I, went around the Willow Flowage and just did a whole bunch toward Minocqua. Yeah, I mean, you can make a day of it, right? Where you're talking, the snow trails are in great condition. You stop at a bar or two along the way and go use the restroom and get a bite to eat. And then you just meet people on the trails with you. And it's just, I have a need for speed, one of those things where it's fun to be out there and kind of open it up and, just kind of be one with nature. And lots of people do it. So, and I see why.
Did you feel safe as well?
Oh, yeah. Everybody's being very safe. I can't think of a moment where I felt like I wasn't being safe.
That's good. Very good. Well, let's talk about the Ice Castle a little bit. I keep seeing more people enjoying it. Here are shots from the night they completed it. So what were your thoughts? You visited?
So I was there yesterday, and it became a thing because, everybody is there were lots of people around. And I brought Theo, so of course Theo became the main attraction there for a while. So people are taking pictures with Theo and the Ice Castle. It's just one of those things where it's fun to take a picture of this and then send this to people far away and saying, look where we get to live.
Yeah.
Look what's nearby us, right? The snow trails are open. We have ice castles. People are ice fishing. There's tons of shacks out right now on the ice, the ice fishermen are out. So it's just that time of year where it all kind of comes together and there's so much to do.
Yeah, it doesn't slow down in the winter. The slow time is really spring, I feel like.
Yeah, and I think, you were training for the Birkebeiner. How do you say it?
Birkebeiner. Yeah, the American Birkebeiner.
This weekend.
So I was going to go skiing with my dad. I did go skiing with my dad. I was worried he was going to kick my butt. I ended up kind of staying with him. Maybe he was taking it easy on me. I don't know. But
because Dan's dad is Mr. Fitness. Like, he's just hard to keep
here's
up
the
with.
thing, Jeff. Usually I could stay with him, but since he entered retirement, all he has to do is ski and ski. So I have to compete with that as a working man. But I stayed with him, and it was a lot of fun. Minocqua Winter Park is like one of my favorite places to
Is that
ski.
where you went this weekend?
That's where I went this weekend. I usually don't go there during the week because it's 50 minutes away from me.
Right.
But man, that place is cool. Very cool.
And you also live on a lake too. Do you ever get out there and practice on the lake, or how do you usually do that?
I generally don't go on the lake just because I prefer it groomed. So at these places, they're going to have basically a roller really push down the snow, and then they're going to have a groomer kind of make it like a corduroy pattern almost. And it makes it a lot more fun.
That gives you traction and speed, I would imagine.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Exactly. Because if you're just going in like the fluffy snow, it's going to be hard to go fast. As well as lakes are just kind of boring, right?
So when is the big race again?
The big race is the last weekend in February.
So you have time.
So I have some time to prepare for that. But I need to get my act together.
Too funny.
We're opening a new segment. Well, it's not really a new segment, but let's see the Jeff Weller weigh-in stinger. Okay.
Oh, so there it is.
Here it is. It's Monday. The Weller weigh-in every Monday. Man, that's fun. Let's go. Okay, let's go. So this is Jeff earlier today.
So without my hair combed.
You started like 210, right?
So, started off at 210.4.
Okay.
And I'm down to what, 197 point something? I can't
I'm down
remember.
to
What does that say?
197.2.
197.2.
Right.
So you're down. You keep going down.
I have been so good at this, and I did cheat this weekend. I had a cookie. I had a cookie.
You had a cookie.
But I had
Whole
to. I
cookie.
couldn't resist. I saw it at Triggs. I'm like, I have to have that cookie. But other than that, I've been really good.
Okay, well, fantastic. As everyone knows, today is Monday. It's Martin Luther King Jr. today. I pulled 2 quotes that I think we would find interesting and insightful. So here's quote number 1. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. I love that quote, not to use that word again. Okay, number 2 here. This is more of a motivational quote. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you just have to keep moving forward.
I often think about what if he lived a longer life.
I know,
how
it's
inspirational that
it
would have
is
been.
tragic, but a true icon, civil rights icon, and an inspiring guy, as you can see there.
Sure.
All right, we'll take a break right now. Right after the break, we're going to head to a very unique collection of a historical collector up in Eagle River. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Visit Wildberry Market, the premier natural food store in the Northwoods, for all of your organic food and health needs. Grab a healthy lunch on the go, made fresh daily by our deli. Eat well, live well, be well. Wildberry Market in Minocqua and online.
Northland Basement Systems is the all things basementy company. Basement waterproofing, basement finishing, basement structural repair, humidity and mold control, and nasty crawl spaces too. When it comes to basement solutions, nobody does it better than we do. Since 1991, homeowners just like you in the Northland have trusted Northland Basement Systems for all things basementy in their homes. Call Northland Basement Systems today to schedule a free home evaluation.
Cellcom's live local customer service is just a call or a click away, so it's always clear where you can get help. What's not clear is how to open that produce bag.
Customer assistance and produce? Okay, coach. Let's see you try it. Give me that.
How to open a produce bag? Unclear. Easy access to the customer care you deserve? Crystal clear. Cellcom. Clarity in a cloudy world.
I almost had it. Yeah, so close.
I know there's conflicting information about Dupuytren's contracture.
I thought I couldn't get treatment yet.
Well, people may think that their contracture has to be severe to be treated, but it doesn't. If you can't lay your hand flat on the table, talk to a hand specialist.
But what if I don't want surgery?
Well, then you should find a hand specialist certified to offer non-surgical treatments.
What's the next step?
Visit findahandspecialist.com today to get started.
Tune in as Chief Meteorologist Jeff Weller brings you the most up-to-the-minute weather data weeknights at 5, 6, and 10. WJFW utilizes industry-leading technology to provide you with an accurate Northwoods weather forecast.
So as most of you know, I've done a lot of history segments on this show, and those segments actually inspired an individual to reach out to me who was a very unique historical collection. We're going to learn about his collection, but let's first learn about him. His name is Jack Palmer. Let's take a listen.
All right, we're inside Jack Palmer's house. Jack, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
You took me on a tour of the house, which we're going to do on our show. We're going to see all the different artifacts from different centuries. I'm really excited for that. But let's first start with, who is Jack Palmer? How did you get into collecting these things?
Well, I'm from the Washington, D.C. area, and when I was a kid, my mom and dad spent a lot of time away. My father was injured in World War II and also had a genetic health issue. So they actually lived much of my youth in Boston. And my grandmothers, particularly the mom on my dad's side, raised me. And they were both history buffs. The Palmer side, that's my dad's side, was her family is from Virginia and Georgia. And my mom's side, her family is from northern Pennsylvania. And all the family goes back to the mid-1700s back to the early 1600s.
Wow. So you go from kind of being raised with a few history buffs to now being a history buff for yourself. I feel like we should just do a little background on your professional life. You've been a history professor, is that right?
No, I was actually the sciences, but the history's my primary hobby. I've worked in Stoughton in the public schools, and then have worked at various universities, and now have a international education program with a partner that is all throughout Asia and kind of just all over that part of the world. And I'm active in scouting, actually, doing some international scouting work too.
How did you land in the Eagle River area?
When I was a kid, Wide World of Sports. For those of you in TV land that are my age, you'll remember Wide World of Sports. And I'd watch the bobsled, and I'd watch the skiing and all that stuff. And I thought, I want to live where there's snow and pine trees. And I've been working my way here all my life.
You picked a good spot.
Yeah.
All right, so enough of Jack, though he's great. We're going to learn about your incredible collection here, starting with this item next. Can you give a little tease for our viewers, Jack?
Well, it's a cannonball, and it was found in an excavation of King Street in Trenton, New Jersey.
Okay, that's all you're going to get. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Menards has everything you need for your painting project. We have the best brands, quality, and prices on paints from Pittsburgh. Grand Distinction is a paint and primer in one with a distinctively rich color. A gallon is $19.98 after $14 rebate. Get the floor of your dreams with Menards' huge selection of Shaw flooring. From luxurious carpet to durable laminate flooring and waterproof vinyl plank. Find the perfect addition to your home. Save big on Shaw flooring.
Save big money at Menards.
Welcome to today's Elite Money Minute with the Elite Advisor Team.
This year was a great year for my garden. We had loads of beans and tomatoes, but now I don't know what to do with them.
Victor, we like to can our beans and tomatoes so we can enjoy them over the rest of the year and they don't go to waste.
Guys, that's a lot like taking gains from the market to save for a rainy day. Helping our clients select the appropriate gains to secure is an important step in retirement.
We call this gain harvesting. Not only does it set funds aside for the rainy days in the market, it also keeps your portfolio balanced.
To get your free copy of Riding Market Highs, call our office at 800-469-2040.
That's today's Elite Money Minute. For more information on this topic or other retirement ideas and information, visit our website at retireidea.com.
We're back on Up North at 4. We are in the museum/house. That is the Jack Palmer residence in the Eagle River area. So last time we talked about this cannonball. He gave us a little tip. It was used in the Battle of Trenton. So fill in the details for us. What's behind this cannonball?
Well, the story goes back to early 1776. And so Washington has an army. It's called the Continental Army. And we hope to be a new nation. And on July 4th, 1776, our Declaration of Independence was signed and announced, and we think we're a new country. Britain doesn't think so. So the early battles, most of them in New England, didn't go well for the American troops under Washington. They fought basically hopefully to a draw or something like that, and retreating action. But the American army had an advantage. They lived here. The British army and those they hired to fight for Britain that came here, which is part of this story, were far away from home. And transportation from one continent to another took a long time. So they retreat and retreat and retreat and end up at a very well-known place called Valley Forge. And that's where the story of this really starts. Because on Christmas Day of 1776, so it's the beginning of the war, which lasted, by the way, over 7 years, we have several issues. First of all, the living conditions are horrible. It was a horrific winter. Many people have seen the paintings and the pictures of just shoeless soldiers just struggling to survive. Food was in short supply. Munitions were in short supply. And enlistments for many of the soldiers were running out. There were 1 year on January 1st. And so Washington is pretty desperate for a victory. And that's where the crossing of the Delaware comes in.
The famous painting.
Right, the famous painting and the stories of the flag and standing up in the boat, which is very unlikely because the conditions, there was ice in the river, it was sleeting, it was snowing, it was a mess. And so I'm sure they were sitting down as they crossed the river. But on the cover of darkness, they crossed the river. He takes 2,000 men with him. They get to the other side with their goal being Trenton, New Jersey. About 8 miles, then hiking through a snowstorm and rainstorm in the middle of the night to get set up and ready to engage Hessian troops, which we'll mention in a moment, at 8 o'clock in the morning, because it's the 26th of December now. And guess what they were doing on the 25th?
Celebrating,
enjoying life.
Drinking, perhaps.
Perhaps. Not expecting a surprise attack first thing in the morning on the 26th. But he still had his army at that point, and it was, again, in desperate need of a victory. So they surrounded them, and when the Hessians were still in bed, the battle began.
The cannonball has to be a part of that battle, Jack.
So there was a young captain who, people had noticed this guy. He was an immigrant. He lived somewhere in the Caribbean. And there's documentation of this man from the time he was 14 on. He had basically dreams of grandeur. And he actually wanted to participate in some major historic event like a war. Well, the American Revolution starts, so he emigrates to the United States. He went to a college initially, but quickly then joined the Army. And now he's 21, and he's not particularly educated, but super bright. And he's kind of a frail guy, too. He's not very big. He was, matter of fact, the night before they crossed the Delaware, he was in a house recovering from an illness. So this young man gets out because he's not going to miss the show. And he has a battery of 2 cannons. They're the only 6-pounders in Washington's army that at least crossed the Delaware. And that's important because provenance is a big thing. When you go to a museum and people say, this was George Washington's or this was Abraham Lincoln's, it's like the prove it thing. That can be hard to do. In this case, we know there were 2 6-pound cannons. We know where they were set up. There's actually a famous painting of it, very well documented. And they made it to Trenton. They set up the cannons, and they aimed them right down King Street, which is Main Street in Trenton, when the battle started.
So you still haven't told me who this mystery individual is.
I can't remember. Oh yeah, the guy from the musical.
Alexander Hamilton?
Alexander Hamilton. Wow. And so he was the commander of these 2 cannon. And one of the interesting stories of him and his cannons, he treated his cannons, one person said, like a horse. He would pet them. He would walk with them. He learned everything through books. He wasn't a trained artilleryman, and yet he became excellent. He was probably the best at his craft at that point in time in the entire army, just from studying and working hard. But he and the cannons became one, more or less. And of course, he had a crew, and he fired what's called grape shot and solid implements down this King Street, and then in the excavation, utility excavation in King Street, at least 2 6-pounders were found underneath the road. And thus, here's one of them.
So Alexander Hamilton is the captain of the artillery. He's the one firing the cannons at this battle. This cannon ball was found, 6-pounder. It had to be him.
It had to be. And again, the significance for we Americans of that moment was that, remember, Washington's about to lose much of his army. he needs a victory desperately. The result of Valley Forge, and therefore Trenton, and the reason it's so famous, is that many of the troops now re-enlisted. Morale went up. It was a saving grace for the fledgling United States.
The first win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jack, we're just getting started on our tour. Thank you. That is, what an amazing item to have here in Eagle River. That's so cool.
Thanks.
We'll be right back on Up North at 4. We're going to head to another part of the Palmer residence.
ELM Repair in Edgar is a family-owned and operated full-service diesel repair shop. From pickups to semi-trucks to heavy equipment and RV service. If it runs on diesel, we can repair it. Want more power and better mileage? Our experienced professionals will get your truck running and at peak performance. With a state-of-the-art dyno and fully stocked parts department, we can even come out to you with our 24-hour mobile repair service. ELM is always looking for passionate and talented people to join our team. The Diesel Doctor. Have it done right the first time at ELM Repair.
All I wanted to do was help out a friend. You know, it was supposed to be just a couple of hours. It turned out to be multiple days. There is just so much junk. I asked him why didn't he hire some professional movers, and he said he couldn't afford it. Guess you never heard of Dan the Moving Man.
Don't traumatize your friends. Call Dan the Moving Man. We want to make your move as easy as possible. That's why we offer affordable rates and an experienced staff that will take care of your belongings. Call us today for a free quote.
Eagle River Roasters, your Northwoods coffee roaster and community coffee house, has the freshest specialty coffee and tea in the Northwoods. Our coffee comes from choice Arabica beans, hand-blended and roasted on-premise for the finest specialty drinks. Fresh bakery, breakfast, and lunch served daily, our comfortable coffee house is the perfect place for meeting friends or groups. The drive-thru is also open daily. Treat yourself with a great cup of coffee or take some beans to brew at home, fresh from Eagle River Roasters, your Northwoods coffee roaster and community coffee house.
Bruns & Sons is not backing down. They still have 80 to 90 vehicles in stock and 30 to 40 trucks in excellent condition to pick from. With a super friendly staff, most deals are done within an hour. Our knowledgeable sales team can answer your questions as well as provide a vehicle history report to help you buy with confidence. Bruns & Sons Auto, featuring a full service department with techs on hand to get you on the move. Visit Bruns & Sons Auto today. We would love to earn your business.
Mall Furniture makes buying furniture easy. A staple of central Wisconsin located in Marshfield, Mall Furniture has the inventory you're looking for that's a fit for every room. We sell locally made products, and we're proud to support the local economy, and we know you are too. We've been family owned and operated for over 45 years and looking forward to many more. Have a look at us online at mallfurniturewi.com.
Mall Furniture, where value is yours.
We will continue our tour of the Palmer residence tomorrow. Jeff, we got some cold temperatures coming our way.
Tomorrow's going to feel balmy with high temperatures basically in the 20s, but then highs in the single digits Wednesday, Thursday, and a Friday. We're going to have a high of 2 on Thursday.
And we don't need ice to grow anymore. We're done with these cold
good.
temperatures.
Yep, here we go.
We'll have more from Jeff at 5 and 6. We'll see you then.